Mișcările pe care le face Donald Trump de când și-a preluat al doilea mandat de președinte al Statelor Unite provoacă îngrijorări în multe cancelarii internaționale. Și totuși, cât de mult va reuși să schimbe la nivel mondial? Ideile politice pe care le are au aparținut și altor lideri americani de-a lungul istoriei, iar lumea a continuat să existe și după ei. Este momentul să ne panicăm sau este mai degrabă cazul să ne adaptăm și să profităm de ocazii? Acesta este subiectul discuției cu Hassan Abouyoub, ambasadorul Maroc la București, un diplomat cu o vastă experiență. Sunt Cristina Cileacu, începe Pașaport diplomatic. Hassan Abouyoub, ambassador of Morocco in Bucharest, welcome again to Diplomatic Passport.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Ambassador, although you represent Morocco, this program is less about Morocco, and I want to take advantage of your lifetime experience as a diplomat all over the world and to talk a little about the way the world seems to be changing. So everyone is adapting now to the new politics of Donald Trump, to his requirements, but is it really the world changing?
Well, first of all, I speak on my own behalf, not on behalf of my country, obviously. I don't believe in spontaneous change, particularly when it comes to geopolitical issues, to the remains of history. So I look at what is happening as absolutely business as usual. I'm not panicking, as many leaders in Europe in particular are panicking. It's not at stake, I'm sorry.
Trump seems to be willing to have more influence in his neighborhood, in his vicinity, and to cede some sphere of so-called influence to the other powers of the world. I'm talking mainly about China, but also we have to consider Russia here. Can the United States still be a superpower if Trump gives up his influence, let's say, in Europe or in other regions of the world, and only focus on western part of the world, American continent?
Well, to answer the question, very complex, I would say first that the 4 terms mandate or 4 terms period is not fitting any strategic elaboration. The president is sowing what the next one will harvest. This is the rule. Biden took part of the heritage of Trump, bad and good. We forget that inflation is not the fact of the macroeconomic policy of Biden, but the after effect of what Trump left. Trump tried, and well, I would say he didn't change the big parameters. In China, in North Korea, in Afghanistan before the withdrawal, etc. So what I look personally in a very humble way, being a superpower is not your decision. Being a superpower is the aftermath or the outcome of millions of factors based on your position, your competitors, your partner's position, and it is measured with technology, with, let's say, cultural domination, with a lot of factors that are not in the hands of any country in the world, be it USA or China or even the small and weak Europe.
His ideas are not new. We have to say that even before the 19th century, but let's stop first to 19th century because it's closer to our time. These ideas of buying piece of land, of imposing some influence in specific areas, worked probably back then. Are they still working now? Let's take, for instance, Latin America, where China is very present. Will China give up Latin America and all the investments made there just to let Trump take over?
I think no way. No way for many reasons. One is the China huge population, the challenges of this population, the geopolitical challenges of China will not allow China to withdraw from its strategic undertakings. I'm not only mentioning Latin America. In
it's
Africa,
just an example, yeah.
In Africa, they bought millions of acres of land for food security, but not only, for some kind of control of the major strategic resources in the world. So this is a kind of face-to-face, polite, let's say, battle between US and China. And China was more motivated in investing in R&D than America. And the fact is today, they fill the gap, technologically speaking, with America. If you look at two examples, the new computing technology and the artificial intelligence, China is much more ahead than what the Americans used to say. And they know that. And recently you see what the earthquake that was provoked by DeepSeek in the stock market. And for me, it's only the beginning. And this is the issue, and this is a challenge for America, how to deal with China. Violent deal-making, using force for that? I don't think so. Already, Mr. Trump tried in his first mandate to build a dialogue. And Biden, too, sent how many ministers to Beijing to find a kind of strategic compromise allowing more of partnership. Because the only solution for America is to save its partnership with China, for sure.
Speaking about partnerships, of course, the biggest ally of the United States is Europe. And you mentioned earlier that you don't panic like some or most of the European leaders do. What should Europe do in order to regain its strength, its attitude in front of the United States and not to behave like it's the end of the world?
Since de Gaulle, I don't remember Europe had any strengths, any assets in hand in this transatlantic dialogue. I'm not sure Europe was strong, ever. The issue is very simple. I think now there is a view of a businessman, Mr. Trump, that to make America big again, and which means provide more welfare to the American population, he has to reduce the expenses in non-profitable, economically speaking, investments. War, defense, etc. And particularly, this huge amount of expenses, of strategic expense of America in maintaining the security of, let's say, the neighborhood, Asia, South Korea, and Europe. And then he understood very well that in not allowing the American pressure to change the European pattern as far as the defense is concerned, it was a huge premium, particularly for Germany. Mm-hmm. Germany had no budget in the defense sector. So they took this huge advantage to increase their competitiveness. Now, having said that, it's obvious for me that America needs to, let's say, distribute on at least on equal footing the burden of security and defense, because they know very well that the big battle will be the competition with China. And they have to be nice athlete, in a good shape to face this huge threat for all the world.
You know very well the European politics, and the question is, why don't Europe have a different attitude when it's negotiating with Trump? It's always, as you say, or yes, boss.
It's always yes, boss, or yes, yes, minister, as a famous book, for the very reason that Europe is still a dwarf, geopolitical dwarf. And Europe, I think, they never understood that existing is not having a big level, sound level of competition in the world market. Being big means that you have the capabilities to intervene and to change some local or regional geopolitical situation because of your defense system. Strengths. They don't have.
Sorry for interrupting, but being a geopolitical dwarf, as you call it, also helps United States. I mean, United States is more powerful because this geopolitical dwarf is helping United States.
Absolutely true. But when the situation and the equation changed dramatically after the Ukraine war, this wonderful equilibrium between America and Russia, where Europe was playing quite a big role as an interposition force, now it's dead. So now Europe is at stake when it comes to security challenges, because the issue of the war in Ukraine will have a dramatic impact on Europe. I'm not sure President Trump at this moment is really convinced that pushing ahead in this war is in favor of America. He's more inclined to rebuild a relation with Russia.
But then
his strategy is based on this equilibrium. We don't need two huge components in our adversary system. I have China, it's enough. Better to unleash the relationship between China and Russia, to reduce the amplitude of the Chinese, let's say, power, yeah. Domination. Yeah. That's it. So I understand, he's a dealer.
He's a transactional man.
Absolutely.
Indeed. But then again, being transactional, Donald Trump doesn't like to lose. So giving up Ukraine and making it a gift to Putin won't be affecting his ego, first of all, because it's always about ego in his case, and then again the attitude, the position of the United States in the world.
I would look at the career of President Trump as a businessman, and he experienced so many bankrupts, and he managed to revive his assets, his capabilities after so many failures.
When his
so he is
career
accustomed to failures,
yeah,
and to rebuilding after the failures. And we have that example, for example, in North Korea. He came with a huge ambition, and still he is saying that the president of North Korea is his friend, or he likes him very much. But in terms of geopolitical outcome, it was a huge failure. With China also, it was a huge failure. So, well, it's difficult to assess at the geopolitical level what I can call performances. It's very difficult because we are playing on a very long term. So he'll never see the results of his politics, for sure, because he is putting seeds in the soil, but the harvest will be in 10, 15 years. So that's why his main concern is to rebuild the American capabilities, technologically speaking. Not only technologically speaking, and to create a kind of a balloon of safety around America. Put away every terrorism, every threat to the American security. This is his main obsession.
The United States is helping a lot of countries to preserve democracy, to, I don't know, solve issues related to health, to society, and so on. America stopped all the financing, at least for the moment, regarding all these programs that helped various societies all over the globe. Won't this, kept for a long time, make those populations turn to China or Russia?
Big question. Let me start with Africa. In the first term, never President Trump visited Africa.
Yeah.
The exposure of the aid system to Africa was reduced significantly during the first term. Two, the issue of conditionality, what I call political conditionality, human rights and so on, it's not applied across the board. Very big partners of the United States of America that were visited by Trump, in some cases twice, are not the champions, these countries, of democracy and human rights observation. So I'll always remember that in the United States of America, when the human rights report is published by the State Department, not all the countries are treated the same way. we have privileged countries that are in the strategic totem of America on the top of the totem. We don't touch them. The huge interest of America, economic interest or security interests, are more important than putting conditionality on the head of these important partners. So America is pragmatism, and it will remain pragmatism.
When it comes to the Middle East, because of course this is the big issue since forever, first visit to the White House will belong to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. What shall we expect from this visit?
We have to look how the Trump administration, before January 20th and after, how it behaved in Qatar during the negotiations. I think it's, for me, an indication that the level of awareness of Trump administration is higher than before. I think they understand, as many experts and specialists mentioned, that the continuing on this Netanyahu policy is damaging Israel first and is damaging the interest of America. So the strategic interest of America is now in contradiction with the Israel strategy. And he knows very well that the resilience of Israel is zero without the American support. So we are now in a real crossroad. We know very well that Trump is in favor of Israel expansionism. We know very well that he closed his eyes in front of the Netanyahu very old strategy to eliminate completely Palestine. So I don't think really that America will be as it was in a strategic vision for the whole Middle East. And more than that, the average threat, the powerful proxies that were creating a certain situation almost disappeared, Iran and Russia. So the map is a little bit looking different. And of course, we cannot, and it is a conclusion, I'm sure, for many specialists, we cannot erase the word of Palestine, the identity. It's impossible. After 15 months, what is the result?
Just a lot of people dead.
Gaza is
destroyed.
Totally destroyed. What can the army, Israeli army, do more? What is left to be destroyed? Those who were targeted are still there, and nobody will destroy them. And this is history. Since mankind was intelligent and enjoying a nice brain, nobody solved the problem with war and violence. The history of Europe is a very good example.
And to wrap up with our talk with the closest to Europe war, because it is in Europe, the war in Ukraine, how do you see, what shall we expect actually from this announced meeting that Donald Trump and Putin will have? We don't know yet when and where.
Nobody knows. We have on the table a lot of contradictions. We have at least one certainty. Ukraine is not ready to give up the territory. What are the means? What are geopolitical means, the defense system you have to achieve your recovering of your territory? In an autonomy approach or with allies. If America, by decision of the Almighty, decides to withdraw, did Europe have the capabilities to help and assist? No.
No.
So the Putin administration is ready to negotiate at all price?
Not really.
I don't think so. So what is the result of whatever dialogue that can happen will be the combination of two factors: the equilibrium of forces and what could be the price Mr. Putin will require for the agreement. It's not the price that will be given or asked for by Mr. Trump. It will be the price requested by Putin. And here, the role of Europe is absolutely important. It is an opportunity for Europe to start rebuilding its creditworthiness and, to some extent, its autonomy. If Europe fails in that, I will be very, very much concerned about the future of Europe, declining demography, declining technology edge. I will be very much concerned on how Europe will maintain its welfare system inherited of the Second World War. This is what's at stake.
So to end up this discussion, bottom line, shall we say we should be panicked of the new Trump administration, or we should just breathe deep and think more?
We should not panic at all, because whatever magician Mr. Trump could be, he cannot solve the structural problems, systemic problems of Europe. I'm panicking because of blindness of Europe, because of the absence of unity, because of the division of Europe. This is what is panicking me as a neighbor of Europe. I'm not panicked by what Trump can do. The problem is how Europe will understand at the end of this long period of happiness, of comfort, that this is finished. Then they have to take into account the new map, take into account the new threats, and more than that, how to take advantage of their opportunities. Europe has a lot of opportunities. Science, a lot of science is there available. Technology can be repaired, if I may say so, and the social system has to be revisited. Reforms are needed, and in all Europe reforms are needed, but where is that leader, or these leaders, that can take over and plan the revival of Europe? This is a major issue. You lack leadership and leaders.
Ambassador Hassan Abouyoub, thank you so much for the discussion and for the food for thought.
Thank you for hosting me.
Atât pentru astăzi, dar rămânem în continuare online pe pagina de Facebook a emisiunii și pe conturile noastre de X și Instagram. Revenim cu subiecte noi din lumea diplomației și a politicii externe, vinerea viitoare de la 11:30 și reluare sâmbătă după miezul nopții. La revedere!